My gosh, it's been a while. I know we released an episode lately that we did with LaDonna Covert, but that one was recorded way back before Christmas sometime because you could hear some of our references where we were talking about not being ready for Christmas or whatever. So it's been a good little while. I guess part of that is we ended 2022 and started 2023 with a bit of a bang, I guess. We had a certain family that was not very happy with us at the end of the year, which was strange because I never thought that would be the episode that people would get upset about, where we talked about Howard Ashelman and the story from down there, the Dateline covered. But so we dealt with some of that. Then also there's been these parody accounts that are so, and they're poking fun at CHM individuals, and they for the most part, all of them are poking fun at public individuals, like Jim Plank. I think there's one about him. There's one about Dan Stetler, I think. There's a couple of the others, and they've caused a bit of a ruckus. And I got accused of running those too at the end of last year, beginning of this year. So a few things on the parody accounts, real quick. Number one, it's not us. It's not us. If you've seen anything from a account on Facebook called Plank James, no matter how funny you think it is, it's not me. And it's also nobody that you've ever heard on the podcast. So I wanted to put that out there because there were several people accusing us of running those. Somebody even told an acquaintance of ours. They said, I have proof that Phil and Missy are behind the fake accounts. It's like, well, obviously you don't, bud, because you can't have proof of something that didn't happen. I do think it was funny. Let me put it this way. I think a lot of it's funny. Some of the jokes, it's poking fun at some of the public figures, and some of them maybe not as public, and I understand why that would be an issue. But like the ones that just poking fun at Jim Plank, I thought some of it was funny. Obviously, I don't agree with all of it, and this feels weird to try to dance around this. Not everything that is posted on those accounts is something that I would necessarily say or do. Okay, so let me put that out there. But there have been times that it's made me grin a little bit, and laugh out loud sometimes too. But there was an account that was made about a lady, and I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to draw any more attention to her. And apparently, from what I understand, the account was somebody wanted to make a generic account that would just be it would be covering portraying just a generic CHM woman, and they chose this name, this random name, and apparently there is somebody in the CHM that's fairly well known in certain circles that has that same name, and it began to cause a ruckus because then the poor lady thought that it was all being aimed at her, which it was not from my sources. Again, was not me. And all of a sudden, there became this bit of a witch hunt to find out who that account was. Like I said, there were people claiming they had proof that it was me. And there was all kinds of discussion and much wringing of hands about this parody account. And a lot of people trying to get it took down and all that. A lot of energy was used on this. And it just made me think about a lot of the... Now, I'm not saying... Don't get me wrong, because there are people that I know and like that worked trying to get this account took down. That's fine. That's fine. You do you. And obviously, I don't want to see anybody get their feelings hurt, unduly. So, with this lady thinking it was about her. That's I'm sorry that she feels that way. But so, and I'm not saying neither that you can't go after multiple causes at once. I understand that. But let me just talk about maybe this general CHM as a whole. Let's generalize for a while here. The energy that I've seen put out to condemn these fake accounts of people that are poking fun, the energy I've seen, just really exerted towards that, versus the energy that I have seen by most, not all, let me make that clear, but by most of the CHM in the condemnation even of some of the sexual abuse that goes on over there, it bothered me a bit. It bothered me a bit. Because especially with the accounts of, like those that are poking fun of Jim Plank, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure Jim Plank doesn't like it. I get it. I wouldn't like it if it was about me. But when you're a public individual, that kind of does come with the territory. But I don't understand why the big issue of, hey, let's track this down. There was even one preacher that said that he had tracked it down and knew who was doing it, supposedly, according to him. And then he was thinking about turning it over to the FBI because they supposedly were committing identity theft or something. And it's plainly a parody account, an account poking fun at Jim Plank. So I don't know. That just kind of made me scratch my head a little bit with all that. And there were people, I do want to be clear on that I saw trying to get the accounts took down, and they've also done a whole lot on to try to expose the sexual abuse in the CHM. So, like I said, I don't want people to think that I believe that you can't pursue two causes at once. But if we're generalizing here, it bothered me a bit. It really did. I've noticed that with the CHM lately. They will come out in full force when the CHM is attacked. But when there's a cause, when there's something there that actually needs, responded to or something like that, you mostly hear crickets over there. You hear a lot of crickets. But as soon as you differ with the CHM and their biblical beliefs, they'll come at you. But you'll hear very few of them go on a crusade against sexual abuse. Now, of course, you got CHM2, which is that's kind of in the CHM, and those guys over there, they're working to try to expose some of this. But I don't know, just some thought. I'm kind of thinking out loud here tonight, so take it for what it's worth. I think that this stuff has turned into, with the parody accounts. If you hear something jingling, it's because I'm wearing bibs, and I just noticed every time I move, you can hear the buckle. I'm wearing bibs because I had hernia surgery, and they're about the only things that I can stand to wear right now. And I'm sure we'll get into that at another point, but this has all kind of become a distraction, if you ask me. Because what I like to do on the show a lot is to push back against what I think is dangerous with the CHM. And that's a lot of their teachings. That's a lot of the ways that they handle or don't handle issues, really bad issues in the movement. And that's stuff that I really feel is important. And I feel that stuff, from what you all have told me, that you like that means a lot to you. And it's kind of something we can all rally behind. And I think it's very important. But I've noticed that a lot of it has the focus has kind of got turned away from a lot of that with this whole worried about the parody counts and some of the other stuff that we were dealing with. And that bothers me a bit. The CHM is good at deflecting. They're very good at deflecting. I see it a lot because I browse through a lot of their stuff and see a lot of the people that defend them, and they're very good at whenever you say, like, well, what about this? Well, then they will, like, just for instance, what about, such and such, just say, what about Walter Bradshaw, CHM preacher that's in jail for molestation? What about him? Well, then they will take that and somehow deflect it too. Well, yes, we know that there are sometimes bad things in our movement, but you know what? You've got to get that bitterness out of your heart. And, then they're very, very good at that. And I think that this parody account stuff has been used by them to quite the advantage, because there were a lot of people that they thought it was us, and some of it people didn't particularly care for what was posted, and so therefore it was having an effect on us a little bit. And that's why I wanted to put the statement out there on Facebook when we did, like, hey, just want to let you know, it's not us. That's not like our style. We prefer to go at the CHM here on the podcast or on the Facebook page or something like that. But this stuff it's become a distraction, and I feel like that it's been so hard to try to point this thing back around, muscle this thing back around, be like, no, nope, that's just, don't worry about that. That's, that's distractions. That's deflection. Let's get this back over here to what really matters. I'm not even tied up in this over here. Let's try to get the focus back on what we're trying to expose in the CHM. And that could be a bit of a hassle. And through some of this, I wanted to tell you something that happened to me as well. And I don't quite know what to make of it. But as a lot of this stuff happens, and you've heard me say before that I take the criticism and the comments and all, I take them very seriously. And I think on them a lot, give them a lot of time, and use them to try to see where we stand as far as, are we still doing the right thing and all that. And I'm standing outside the other day, and this stuff had really been really been weighing on me, trying to figure out what to do. And I was out there, and I was responding to some people. We got a good network of people that I've met since we started this podcast, and they're very good at giving us their opinions and kind of helping us with decisions on things. There's several of you all. And I'm kind of responding to some messages from several of them, and saying a few words to the man upstairs. And as I'm standing out there, I get this weird feeling that I need to get back in the house. This is about 11 o'clock, 11:30. And I'm standing out there, and I just feel this almost like a spiritual attack, And it was like, you need to get back in the house. And by the time it's hard to explain because I didn't see anything, but by the time it was over and done with, I felt like I was about to, just like there was this really big spiritual warfare thing going on. Nothing big. Like I said, I don't want you to think like, whoa, poor me. But I think this stuff does have, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. And I think that this stuff is important. And there is a spiritual battle going on with this stuff. That's my opinion. But anyways, going forward, and this is kind of my hope. I want to stay focused as much as I can. Stay focused on what's important with the CHM. Not the little side squabbles with somebody's family that I did get into. And I probably shouldn't have, but I did. And I'm saying probably shouldn't have, just because purely the optics of it. It never looks good when you're having it out on Facebook. It really never looks good. And I kind of got trapped into that one. But I want to stay focused, not get caught up in a lot of the side squabbles, and not get drugged down into the CHM's level of mud. You know what I mean? I want to stay focused on the topic that the CHM is dangerous, in my opinion. and talk about that, try to expose that. We got several good shows lined up for the future. And just kind of keep that as our general line of sight. But anyways, I don't know. Was that about all I had to say? I wanted to record a podcast. I haven't been in here recording for over a month, and I was itching to come in here and record something. Hopefully our schedule will get more regular again, and we'll start putting out some more content. But anyways, just kind of wanted to talk about that and maybe clear it up a little more past the Facebook post, because it can be kind of hard to figure out what all is going on if you're just trying to follow a Facebook post. But anyways, that's where it's at. Going to try to stay focused and keep hitting this thing going forward.